Okay, I'm so glad you're here, Maddie. I'm just adding you. Send a request, Maddie. Yay! Hello. Hi, Ria. Hi, Nitesh.
Gotcha.
Hi!
Hi, how are you?
I was so excited and I was so nervous because some days the Wi Fi acts up, some days the sound isn't very good. And I was like, let me go on a little early and just start the conversation to see if it's going okay. And it seems to
Well,
be going fine. And then Archana, you know Archana Pania, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
she saw, yeah, so she's super excited that both of us are going live for the first time. So they're like,
So, Dia,
रहना है तेरे दिल में
yeah,
reunion.
I am nervous because of more than one reason. One, I think we are on the screen together for the first time after an Aitra Dil Mein. We've never done an interview or an ad or nothing together. Secondly, I don't think you look a day older than the first day I met you, and that's a big problem
Oh,
because you look charming and as beautiful as ever, my lady. So both of that makes me very nervous. And plus, messages announced this interview. People have been sending Sach Kya Divana and Zara Zara songs to me, trying to tell me that we'll catch you up with this interview. It's crazy, really crazy.
it
But I'm
is.
gonna, yeah,
But
you know,
it's
I'm
so, it
right.
makes me so happy to see you right now, Maddie. You know,
Thank
I
you.
don't know what, I really, words are not adequate to express just the power of this, just being able to see each other, you know,
Yeah,
and be able to connect at a time like this. And I'm really happy that we're meeting like this for the first time with so many people joining us to talk about something that we've never spoken about together. You have, I've of course been, you know, championing nature for years now. You have done it in your own way. And I really wanted to talk to you about some of that because I think for many of us that live in the cities, that are living in like an urban setting, we're all kind of wondering all the time, how can we coexist better with nature? How can we find ways to live in better harmony with nature? And these conversations down to earth with Dee have been about this, you know, Maddie, just getting people the chance to engage and interact with real life solutions, real life understanding lessons. So I actually want to start from the beginning because you've had an amazing journey so far. You've
that's great.
traveled, you've lived in different parts of the country, you've lived in different parts of the world, you've had such varied life experiences, even through the characters that you've played. But I'm I want you to start with Jamshedpur. What was it like growing up in Jamshedpur, in a simple Tambram family eating vegetarian food?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump right into it. I think I've had the best childhood that anybody can imagine having. I grew up in a small town called Jamshedpur, Tata Nagar at that point in time. And it was a small town. And I think it was such a small town and so impactful that I've always carried that small town boy attitude with me till date. And it served me well. Being a small town boy means that you're more aware of everybody around you. Unlike a big metropolis, you have to be involved with your neighbors' lives. You have to be involved with your friends' lives to an extent that today it seems almost interference. But at that time, it was considered caring. And when you're in a small town, one of the things that you become part of is nature, is the geography of the place, the flora and the fauna becomes part of your upbringing. The years of wiring and conditioning that you get in a place like that, if you spend, especially I spent 18, 20 years there, you learn to respect or disrespect things depending on how the people around you reacted to it. And thankfully for me, the Tatas ran the city. And from very earlier on in my life, I remember the importance of them trying to say the importance of greenery. They would insist on planting trees because it was a steel city. It was a city that was very, alluvial soil. So we had the best soil, but it was still an iron ore and steel and rustic sort of a city. And they intended to keep it green. So I remember the Jubilee parks, which we used to have, which are huge botanical parks that we used to roam around, took that for granted. And most importantly, I mean, anybody from Jamshedpur will tell you, we used to wake up to the sound of vacuum cleaners on the road, you know, at that time, in early 80s, we actually had vacuum cleaners that would clean the road. And I used to think that's how the rest of the world is before I traveled. It's only when I left
Or rest of the
Jamshedpur,
countries.
rest of the world, forget about the country, rest of the world, I used to think. And then it's only when I left Jamshedpur, on trips to South India and other parts of, vacation that my parents were very kind enough to take us and privileged enough, I realized, my God, I'm living in an extremely privileged place because the sanitation, the town planning, everything was so different compared to Jamshedpur. I don't know if you know, but it's one of the first planned cities of the
Yes,
country. So the
like
main
Chandigarh.
roads,
Like Chandigarh.
Chandigarh and Jamshedpur, yeah. So the main roads used to run from east to west. The by lanes used to run from north to south, like it is in the US. The wind used to clean the streets, and cleanliness and greenery was a very integral part of our culture, of our livelihood. And I remember I have had the privilege of playing in the streets, from gulli danda to
Did you
kanchas, and
climb trees like me?
oh,
Huh? Pluck fruit from trees,
uh,
eat them directly from the tree.
stole it.
आम चुराए, चीकू
अरे
चुराए,
हाँ,
नींबू
मतलब
चुराए,
जामुन, आम,
जामुन चुराए.
मतलब हाँ, फिर क्या, मतलब भेल, हमने, मतलब सब कुछ। और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि जब चोट लगती थी,
हाँ,
हमें कहता था कि यार मिट्टी लो, पोत लो, और
हाँ,
लंगड़ाते हुए चलो, 3 दिन बाद ठीक हो जाता था।
हाँ.
तो
और कितनी मतलब कितने चोट लगते थे घुटनों पे, बाप
हाँ,
रे,
हाँ,
पेड़ चढ़ते
मतलब
ऊपर.
वो तो बाद में कॉलेज में आके पता चला कि टिटनेस कोई चीज भी होता है, कि भैया अगर रस्टिक चीज से लग जाए तो आप टिटनेस इंजेक्शन ले लो। हमें तो, मतलब हमने सब कुछ किया यार। चोट लगती, मुझे याद है कि खेलते खेलते एक जंगल जिप हुआ करता था, मेड ऑफ आयरन, दोस थिंग्स दैट यूज्ड टू क्लाइम एंड एवरीथिंग,
Yeah,
एंड आई फेल
yeah.
ऑफ एंड आई ब्रोक माय हैंड इन 3 places, and I'm afraid to tell my mom because she's like, हाँ, and I came home and my mom's like, homework कर लिया, and I'm trying to, do the homework with my hand broken and it is swollen up, and then she made me, being tough was just the way you were supposed to be. It was just part of our lives. And most importantly, I lived in a city which was volatile there, in the sense that हमारे स्कूल ना कई बार रुक जाते थे क्योंकि कम्युनल राइट शुरू हो जाते थे कभी भी। और
हाँ.
और ये हमारा एक जिंदगी का हिस्सा बन गया था जमशेदपुर में।
It's
लेट से
interesting, Maddie, we have that in common even with Hyderabad. I
जी।
remember a lot of that happening. हैदराबाद में भी
हम्म।
ये बहुत होता था. वो स्कूल बंद हो जाता था, शहर बंद हो जाता था.
हाँ।
You know, these
और
things
मुझे,
are
हाँ,
very.
और काफी खतरनाक हुआ करता था वो। 3 3 4 4 महीने के लिए स्कूल बंद। तो मुझे हमेशा ना समझ में नहीं आया कि हो क्या रहा है। मैं बच्चा था यार, 8 9 10 साल, 8 9 साल का। तो मुझे पता था कि हम लोग सब एज अ कम्युनिटी, मतलब बाहर में तो कह रहे हैं कि भाई कम्युनल राइट्स हो रहा है, पर कम्युनिटी के हर एक हिस्सा हमारे साथ रहते थे। हम लोग साथ में चुप कर बैठते थे और ये उम्मीद करते थे कि कर्फ्यू कभी लिफ्ट हो जाएगा, फिर हम बाहर चले जाएंगे। और उस दौरान हमने क्या क्या सीखा एक दूसरे से।
Yeah.
हर एक, they say there's always a silver lining to every experience. I'm sure there's a silver lining to this COVID era as well. But for us, in terms of adversities, you learn so many new things, and I'm very thankful for those life experiences that only a small town can give us.
Yeah, I think it keeps us rooted and connected with not just. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he was telling me that um, environmentalism is really nothing but a reminder for all of us that all life is connected. जो रिश्ते इंसानों के बीच बनते हैं, वैसे ही रिश्ते कुदरत और इंसान के बीच में बनने चाहिए. And when you become sensitive to that symbiotic nature, that relationship, you just become a better person. You're more inclusive to everything.
It's a very lovely point,
Tell
Kadya.
me,
Huh.
Asha, you're saying something.
No, I want you to ask your question. Please go ahead, ask the question.
Okay. No, I want you to respond to what you were saying. I'm sorry. This needs to be as free flowing as possible. It's not a Q&A.
No, I
It's
know.
a
So,
conversation.
yeah, I think this the COVID era and what's happening around the world today has made everybody take a deeper look at themselves more than anything else, and a lot of priorities are becoming clearer as you go along. And I think one of the things that everybody is realizing is it's really important to be in touch with who you really are, what really makes sense. And without a doubt, for it doesn't matter which community, which religion you belong to, eventually everybody says you have to be one with nature to be at peace.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, ask anybody who has grown their first vegetable at home and consumed it. Okay. Ask anybody who's actually had a garden that has been infected with insects and the kind of agony they feel for the first time when it gets infected, and multiply that by a million times to know what a farmer feels.
Yeah.
And then you become compassionate to your farmers, you become compassionate to the agriculturists, you'll become compassionate towards people who are doing selfless service for animals around the world, and you'll also understand, in your lives in terms of just balancing you out.
Yeah.
uh, I don't know if how many of us are privileged enough to actually walk amongst trees, or how many of us have had the privilege of actually walking on grass. Uh, in the few, I mean, before the COVID era, you're just walking on grass, and you'll realize you're not capable of walking on grass anymore. You've been walking with shoes so much that your feet are so sensitive that you can't do something as simple as that. So for me as an actor, when I see a song in a movie of yonder years, and I see the heroine or the heroes singing and dancing barefoot because they're part of a village, or a small town. It hurts me just to look at them, and I realize how far removed I am from just having to put my feet on the ground. And that's not a way to be, because one of the most important acupressure points of your body is on the bottom of your feet, and you
So
need to walk on this. Sorry.
I can't begin to tell you how deeply what you just said resonates with me, and how I've learned it and understood it a lot. Because like everybody else, you grow up and life takes over, and you move cities, and work takes over. And I actually found my way back to nature in 2008, 9, and started working with wildlife organizations for wildlife protection. But that really started with going to the forest. And over the years, Maddie, I've managed to bring the forest to me. Living
Wonderful.
in, yeah, living in Mumbai, I've grown these biodiverse plants in my windows. So they attract birds and bees and butterflies. And they're pulsating with life. So I literally call them my windows to life. And
Nice.
the other privilege that I managed to gain access to at a very young age is I bought a home in a building that has a garden. And it meant so much to me at that age, when I got this place, because it reminded me of Hyderabad. The fact that there were trees and there was
Yeah,
greenery, and every window I looked out of, I could see green. And I spent my mornings in the garden bare feet walking on the grass, Maddie,
there you go.
every day, almost every day of my life. And I can't tell you how much it centers me, how much it grounds me. Um, and I want you to talk about the fact that you are a farmer. I don't think many people know that you are an urban farmer. You've been growing your own vegetables. I've been looking at those videos and pictures for years now with absolute envy, because it's something that I really want to do but haven't gotten around to doing yet. But this time, during this lockdown, I've become so acutely aware of how important and urgent it is for us to also start urban farming, to just be able to start growing our own food as well. Bolo, bolo,
So,
farmer kaise bane?
पहली बात तो Dia, first of all, I'm in huge admiration of you. You're one of those people who actually walk the talk. I have seen you get involved with environmental activities, and not just a pretty face trying to promote a cause. You've actually dived into it, and I've seen all that you've managed to achieve. truly envious and have a lot of respect for what you're doing. I love to see people who actually mean what they say and say what they mean, and you're one of those ladies. That's phenomenal. Secondly, yeah, I realized I have a friend of mine who actually got this, the greenery bug instilled in me. He has a house in Malaysia that I used to play. I'm a golfer, so we spend a lot of time in nature, anyways. But when I saw what he was talking about, I felt very excited because he said there is a process
When
called
was this?
hydroponics.
When was this?
This is about 8 years
When
ago.
was this?
8 years ago, in about
Okay.
2002, 12. So he said that there's a process called hydroponics where you can grow plants without having the requirement for soil. You don't have to actually need soil. You can grow it with water and put nutrients in it. For me, being a science guy, I'm like, oh, is that ever possible? And I did my research and I realized it was quite a possible, and it was actually quite a amazing way that a lot of people who didn't have fair weather throughout the year were growing vegetables. So I decided to see if I can do it in Bombay, if I can start a hydroponic garden on my terrace in Mumbai. And so I got the things that they were supposed to
It's
do.
my patch
Some,
of envy. Full envy.
yeah, yeah. So I started it. I fumbled and found it for a bit, but over a period of time, I got this set up and I got the nutrients I needed, and I started growing it. And then when the plants started to grow, and through hydroponics they grow faster. I was like, is this right? Is there something wrong with what I'm doing? Because you can't help nature grow faster. And then I realized that maybe some of the stuff that I'm putting in the water as nutrients are not are synthetic. So I decided to go for organic, nutrients to be put into the water. And I can't tell you how nature was just looking for a chance, just a little bit of love and care. And by the end of 5 months, I had I had capsicum, I had onions, I had garlic, I had 16 different types of tomatoes, I had muskmelon. I'm sure you've seen the videos. Watermelon. I had a rich gourd. We had snake gourd. We had kundru, cauliflower,
Chilies?
uh, a broccoli,
Did you
all
grow
growing.
chilies, hari mirchi?
Chilies are like
Hari
chilies are
mirchi.
actually जो हम बचपन में ना जब हम बाहर मतलब बर्तन धो के वो बर्तन धोने वाला पानी ऐसा फेंक देते थे ना उसमें से जो चिली का बीजा था उससे प्लांट उग जाता था यार दिस टू बी सो पोटेंट हमको अभी
करी
उगाना पड़ रहा है
पत्ता, करी
करी पत्ता
पत्ता
हाँ ये सब तो ऐसे ही उग
और
जाएंगे आप
पपाया। पपाया भी बड़ी
मैं
आसानी
अब
से।
मेरे घर पे उगता है ये पपाया अभी वो जो गार्डन देख रहे हो पीछे में सारे पपाया से मतलब
Now
ऑल द
you've
पपाया ट्रीज
converted
आर देयर
all your balconies into your urban farm
Yeah,
over
so
the
I am
years.
very excited. So, and then मैंने एक बात I learned something which is very important. कि you've got to eat seasonal vegetables. So don't eat genetically modified vegetables that are provided to you through year round. There's a season to eat capsicum. There's a season to eat brinjal. There's a season to eat lady's finger, aubergine, everything. And if it is the right season, oh, pach bhi jata hai. It digests beautifully. It doesn't stick to you. You feel better. Don't feel, So I have become a fan of urban farming and also rural farming. And I think by growing my own plants and at least 60% of my
Own food.
vegetables grow own food. So be it herbs, be it salad, be it vegetables or fruits. More than anything, my respect for the people who actually grow it, the agriculturists, the farmers, that's just gone through the roof. And I've been trying my best to see what I can do for them. So much so that I've actually experimented with farm
Yes, I'm going to talk to you about that in a bit. But before we get to
coconut.
your farm, before we
Sure.
get to the
Hmm.
farm, I want you to share with us how many, like at an average, you grow your vegetables in hydroponics on your terrace. On an average, how much produce do you get? Like, is it enough for you all to cook like a full meal regularly, or do you still need to buy from outside? What's the like
It's our
ratio of that?
household consists of about yeah. So our household consists of about 6 people. And I grow enough vegetables to feed us for at least 3 to 4 days in a week. So we need to supplement
Wow,
that. Yeah,
Maddie.
yeah. So we eat. I mean, be it
I have
with
like
a
a
goat.
background score, Maddie, Maddie. Oh, oh,
And
Maddie going on right now for
I get
what
so
you just
embarrassed.
said.
Yeah,
No, it's amazing.
yeah.
It's
So I
amazing.
So I used to put my, the daily harvest, as I used to call it, on my Instagram, and then people started following it, and people are now growing it themselves. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, and you learn how to take care of it. You realize you don't need insecticide. You can just take neem oil and spray that. It works as good as an insecticide. You don't need to put natural, chemical fertilizers. You can use natural produce. You can use,
Exactly.
compost, all that, how to make it and how to use it. Really phenomenal.
It's amazing. And I'm totally going to do this and I'm going to totally take all
Any
the
help you need.
pointers that I have to from you.
Sure.
Get this going. Because now I'm like resolute. It has to happen. It's
Yeah.
on top of my like things to do in life. Maddie, how does Vedant respond to all of this? I think when parents set an example through the actions and the choices they make, it inspires children in unique ways. And I know for a fact, I mean, the science says it, psychologists say it, that when children engage and interact with nature, it has a very profound impact on their mental health, positively, obviously, on their physical health, on just the kind of human beings and the kind of values they imbibe in and have. Have you noticed something that you would like to share about Vedant?
Yes, of course. We've always been a household of animals, and we've kept animals that have largely been discarded by other people. And so Vedant has had the privilege of growing up with dogs and parrots and stuff like that we've managed to rescue. And I think we've learned more about how to be humans from our animals. And it's an amazing lesson for any child. You see your parents and your mother and father go through the stress of life. There are arguments, there are fights, and there are debates. But you could get angry with your dog in the morning for being a naughty boy. You come back in the evening, he's forgotten all about it. He's still wagging his tail and he's telling you, hey, I'm there, give me a hug, I'm right there for you. And such an amazing lesson to let bygones be bygones and move on with the people that you love. It really don't carry residues of any argument or negativity along with your life. I think Vedant has hopefully imbibed that. Now, I don't want to jinx it, but I do know that my son loves animals.
He's
And
a
I
great
think
kid. He's
God's
one of the
grace.
most compassionate, beautiful boys ever.
Yeah, thank you. I
Touch wood.
think that's all credit to Sarita. I just do my philosophical talking in front of him, and I hope he imbibes what I'm talking. But I think I've become. I wish I could be a better father, but I take my time to spend, as much as I can with him, talking about what I have learned and what, you know, kind of stuff that my dad taught me. I remember I remember this is going to be very strange, but I remember when he was 6 years old, he sat me down and he said, Bappa, I want to talk to you. And I said, yeah. He says, Bappa, you're not spending quality time with me. This is not fair. And I said, come here. What do you mean I'm not spending quality time with you? He says, where did you learn this quality time period? Where is this, which serials are you watching on, on the platforms to understand this word called quality time that you have to spend with your father? I said, I can't take you fishing. There is no fishing here in India right now, in Bombay. And my father never spent great quality time with him, but I love him dearly. Okay, he used to spend just the right amount of time when he had the time, and he imbibed in me the kind of qualities that I have today, and I love him. And I said, Vedant, if you can love me half of as much as I love my father, then I will be privileged. Please remember, it's not quality time. Don't let Western, philosophies make you feel inadequate. I'm there for you. If you need me, I'm going to be there for you. And there are things that you have to learn on your own. So please do that. And I think he understood. There was something crazy about the way he looked at me. And he said, you're right, Papa. And we've never had that conversation after that. He knows that I work and my job takes me around the world and do what I do. And so there is a huge, and so I think that ability to understand and what I was trying to say comes from the fact that he understands how animals are. So, we go out for a holiday, maybe we've gone out for a month, and you come back and we start away in the same manner. The dogs don't get upset at you for not being there for 25 days. They just pick it up from where they are, and they show you that it's possible to be even more happier with what we have right now. And I think I would highly encourage everybody to take up pets in who are rescue pets if possible, and they will teach you amazing things. And I have a lot to learn from animals, and I think Vedant has learned a lot.
Oh, most definitely. I think we all learn a lot from animals. And especially when we can rescue them and bring them home. I think
Yeah,
adopting pets is like the most amazing thing.
yeah,
Both of you won PETA uh, Person of the Year, People of the Year, right?
yes.
Vedant's won it as well in 1 year, and you have
Most compassionate kid. I think
Most Compassionate
what
Kid.
Vedant used to do for the first 10 years of his life is he never celebrated his birthday. Whenever he did, he would ask his friends to donate the money to PETA instead of giving gifts. So I think they kind of appreciated that.
Okay, you and Sarita are just
Yeah.
gorgeous, and this child of yours is even more beautiful.
God's grace, yeah,
Um,
God's grace, yeah. Fingers crossed.
so, what led you to? I know you were very inspired by the plants you were growing, the food you were growing at home, and that obviously made you a lot more sensitive to a farmer's life, a farmer's plight.
Hmm.
And then that led you to turning a farmer yourself, like growing in a larger piece of land. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so there was a barren piece of land in the south of India that we had
I
seen,
think
and
that's a key word. I was actually trying to jog my memory about what you shared with me, because that's what fascinated me the most about it, that it was a barren plot of land that you took up as a challenge and you said,
yeah,
I'm going to
so
work on
yeah, so although it was sold as a farm, it hadn't been nothing had been cultivated for 20 years, and it was close to a good source of water, and it was. I was wondering why people were not growing things, and things around that area were, as it is, kind of dwindling in terms of agriculture. So we decided to test the soil, for the alkalinity and see what kind of a composition the soil had, and see what would grow best. And we decided to see if we can grow coconuts, and that to native coconuts, which can grow at a lower height and have a year-round harvest if possible. So I tried to identify things that will grow and started experimenting. And soon enough, in about 3, 4 years, we suddenly realized that whole place was lush green. We realized that we can grow coconut trees and grow vegetables under it, and what kind of vegetables grow better, and which vegetables help in the coconut growing better, and which coconut sapling is best for growing with herbs or with salads or that kind of stuff. Which fruit trees complement each other in terms of their growth and what they contribute to the soil. And I realized that you can create an ecosystem that can be hugely beneficial to the farmer. There was no doubt whatsoever that I did spend a lot of money on it, which normally a farmer may not be able to spend. Okay, but for me, it was an experiment to show that the land is capable of producing this.
that.
It was a and so if somebody says, was it a profitable venture? I'm not. My point was not to show if it was profitable, honestly. My point was to show that if people believed in it, if the government believed in it, you could make a fertile land into a flourishing, luscious, green, environmentally correct sort of a piece of land that will eventually turn profitable to any farmer who follows the process. And we are still experimenting. We're still in the process of it, but I got to say that we've got spectacular results.
And it's so exciting that you're doing this, because this is really where we've come from. Traditionally, this is how we farmed, and it's time that we go back to this kind of farming, because industrial farming is creating all kinds of chaos, as we know.
So the
So
best
this
part is,
kind of farming.
yeah,
Huh.
sorry to interrupt you. The best part I forgot to tell you. The best part is, so now all the surrounding farmers are now taking interest in their own land. People who had just bought it and left it there because it was barren in their opinion, they all came back and says, "Hey, so how did you do it? Like, how did you, make sure that this happens? And how did you, source the water? And which solar fences are you using? And which solar, energy source are you using? Which kind of fish are you putting in the pond so that the nitrogen balance is maintained?" So now they're learning and they're imbibing and they're doing that. So now the whole area is beginning to flourish, and that is beautiful for me to see.
That's the best part. That is just
Yeah,
so amazing. And I hope the
yeah.
government is equally inspired, just as your
The
name
government
already
has been,
is.
yeah, they've been good. They've been honest. I mean, to tell you that they are. So we don't take any subsidies in our farm, thankfully, because I've been blessed with the money. We don't need that. But then actually, the government has done great amount of jobs in trying to make sure that everybody gets electricity, that there is a process in place for you to get your fertilizers from them and make sure that, there's a process of taking the coconuts and all that. Actually, they're doing it. We are an agricultural country. And I think the more technology that we're able to take to the farmers, I think with the more stronger a nation will become.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and the more balance we will be able to bring, when we talk about the sustainable development goals, this is actually such an integral part of bringing back that balance. But it starts with that relationship, which you have illustrated, walked the talk, lived the truth, lived by example. You keep
Yeah.
saying these things for me, but I think it holds so true for you as well, Maddie, in so many ways. You're just so special, yeah.
Thank you.
Ha! Should we go on? We can talk forever.
I know. I mean, I think
uh,
one of the things that we must address in this process is Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein, because I know that people have been dying to see us on screen. I can see the messages just relentless. But I think we haven't found a
it's
story yet. That is,
amazing.
yeah.
It's
And
there. We found the
yeah,
story. It's there. It's
good.
it's
Yeah, I can't
being
wait to see it.
it's
Yeah.
being cultivated.
Yeah, it needs to be then.
It's there. It has. I
Uh,
mean, we have to work together, and we are going
I
to make it
know.
happen. This is a promise we made to each
Y-
other, to everybody who's asking us why we haven't done a film together yet.
Yeah,
Please know that
we're doing our best.
we are doing our best, but also we will only work together when we can give you our best.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is something so special about Reena and Maddie, and the connection that people have with Reena and Maddie, that we wouldn't want to, you know, dilute the opportunity anyway.
But tell me something,
Because
Dia.
it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Are you surprised by the amount of messages we get about RHTDM even now? It's been close to 19 years, and somehow I'm just inundated with the songs and the scenes and the dialogues every day on my social media. Does it happen to you as well?
Hmm. It's overwhelming, Maddie. It's actually very interesting. A very senior actor had once told me that blessed is an actor who is known by the name of a character he or she plays.
Hmm.
And even more blessed is an actor when people recognize you across ages and over a period of time by a film that they instantly connect you with. And I think Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein has been that for both of us.
See, for me,
Um,
I can
and
understand. Yeah. Go ahead.
and just even now, like during this lockdown, there are so many people who are singing the songs at home. They're dancing, they're sharing videos, they're, it's just so wonderful. And I think there is a naivety, there is an innocence, there is an honesty and pureness that we shared in Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein that resonates so deeply with people even today.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I
also,
wish I
there's a
knew.
whole generation that was very young when they watched this film, and now they're like in their late 20s, mid 30s,
Well,
and they're like, expressing and discovering their
I'm
love.
trying to tell you, I'm trying to tell you about people who were probably not even born when Ranatha Dema was released, and now they're fans of it. I mean, I just saw these messages coming up saying I was a thought in my parents' groins when Ranatha Dema released. And then for it to make sense to them, I wish I knew the kind of responsibility that we had when we did the movie. Maybe we would have done a better job of it. At least I could have done a better job of it. I wish I knew that
No,
this is the impact it is going to have, and it's for me
but that's the
it's very
beauty of
humbling.
it. I feel our rawness, our,
Yeah,
like I said, it was all of that, just that raw abandon and
yeah,
that honesty that connects with people.
yeah, man.
And now, though, I think with our life experiences and our film experiences, hopefully we'll be able to do better justice.
Yeah, or else we shouldn't do it. I know. We
Or
have to. We
as you
have to.
did.
Yeah, leave them with a good taste and and a yearning as opposed to oh, अच्छा बेचारे यार बहुत ट्राई किया उन्होंने. हाँ वो नहीं हो सकता.
No, no, hopefully that won't happen. It
Dia,
would be.
what drives you? I mean, I know you've asked me questions, but I want to ask you. You're just such a breath of fresh air every morning. You're out there. You seem to have a different source of energy compared to the rest of us. How do you manage that? I mean, all the goodness around you. See, I can make out it's. I mean, that glow around halo and energy of good forces around you is so evident. What do you do?
Oh God, Maddie, embarrassing me. I'm like blushing.
But it's
Uh,
true.
I don't know, Maddie. I think I've never allowed resentment and bitterness to enter my heart. I always trust everybody. And I trust the universe. I just do. Um, and I keep life simple, you know,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
stay rooted and connected to the core. Just find ways to reconnect with myself. I have I have lots of friends, but I have friends who come from varied fields, diverse walks of life, who keep me connected to reality. I work with organizations that keep me so in check. Well, my reality checks on a daily basis are like intense because of this work. I think all of that, a combination of all of that. But I think most importantly, I feel like when your heart is open and you're willing to live and love and learn every day, you do okay.
I think you're very modest, and I think a lot of what you've achieved is a product of your upbringing. I'm sure your parents would have imbibed all that in you, and as a result of that, the positivity is just radiant. So continue to be this charming for us. You'll always be a source of inspiration for a lot of people. I can see the comments below, and it's just going crazy, and they all want to know your secret now, Dia.
Ah, my secret is just love.
Yeah, good for you.
Only love. But Maddie, we'll have to like wind this up now. It's been over half an hour, and I can talk to you like I said forever. And I'm sure everybody's felt equally inspired and motivated by what we've shared, managed to share today in this very short period of time. Leading up to World Environment Day, I'm hoping to have more conversations like this because I think it's very important for people to recognize that you don't need to be a botanist, a biologist, a scientist, an environmentalist to form a better connection with nature and just live with a little more balance.
Right.
And I think these conversations will help and are helping people. They're definitely helping me. I'm learning a lot. Every time I connect with somebody I admire and I know and I learn something new, I'm actually also glad that we didn't kind of talk about what we were going to talk about because it's made it very organic. No pun
Right.
intended.
Yeah, yeah, and I just want to say one last thing before we wind up. I know that it's going to be a very changed world when I get out there, and I'm going to say what I am going to do. I don't know if that's an advice, and I'm not in a position to give advice to anybody right now. But I do know that everybody's going to come from a great place of stress. This 3 months has broken a lot of people, has made them insecure about the future. You and I included. And
Of
I
course.
realized that, yeah, and I realized that when we go out, the one thing that will be most welcome, and I think the biggest important thing is huge amount of compassion. Is having to let people vent out what they're feeling. They're not able to vent out at home, so they'll probably vent out at you. They'll probably vent out in public. They'll probably, feel insecure and angry when they meet. All I want to tell you all is that be aware of that and just be compassionate. Yeah, not everybody has been dealt the same amount of cards. So I've decided to be even more nicer if I can. I want to be even more accommodative if I can of people's eccentricities. That's going to become evident in the first few days after lockdown has been removed, and you try to struggle back to normal lives. And I think it's very important that people get aware of that. Just be assured, just be aware that the people who are going to come to work for you, your domestic help, your drivers, they're all insecure. They've just had a traumatizing experience, much more than what you've experienced. And compassion is the order of the day. And I think we can quickly, go back to normalcy if we exercise that bit of understanding.
Oh, absolutely. Compassion when we come out of the lockdown, and more compassion even now, like right now, through this time, towards other people and towards ourselves. I think it's very important for us to remember that we shouldn't be hard on ourselves as well, because this is
Yeah.
a challenging. And I'm glad you brought this up because it is Mental Health Week, and many people feel hesitant about connecting and reaching out to ask for help. Please, guys, please reach out. And I hope that in a small way, Maddie and I have been able to bring you some happiness, some joy.
Yeah.
And thank you, Maddie, for being a part of this conversation.
Dia, thank you. Pleasure entirely mine, my lady. You're such a darling. The pleasure is entirely mine at all times.
Give Sarita and Vedant and the parents, everybody at home, and the dogs, give them a big cuddly hug.
I will. It's hot, so yeah, I definitely will. I will do that. And thank you so very much. My love and regards to
See
everybody at
you
your place
soon.
as well. Huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Bye, Dia.
everyone, for joining us. You want to
Thank
say
you.
something else? Give them your love. Give them
Yes,
kisses. I don't
just
know.
lots and lots of love, and see you guys very soon. I'm going to do this more often now.
Yay. There you go.
Okay. Alrighty. Bye, Dia.
Thanks, Maddie.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This was so special, है ना? I'm going to wrap this up now. It's been a 38-minute, very beautiful conversation. Maza aa gaya. Maddie, Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein will always be very special. And for all of you who joined us, for the love of Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein, for the love of Maddie, for the love of Reena, for the love of nature, thank you. I hope you have a safe, happy, and positive week ahead. Lots and lots and lots of love. Stay safe and stay home.